You're 8 years old, and you're standing in the kitchen, watching your mother's shoulders slump just a fraction of an inch. You don't ask for a snack, you don't ask for help with your homework, you don't even make a sound. Instead, you pick up a dish towel and you start drying the glasses, moving quietly so you don't disturb the heavy air in the room. Most kids are loud, messy, and blissfully unaware of the emotional weather patterns of the adults around them. But you were a meteorologist before you could tie your own shoes. You learned to read the tension in a sigh, the specific sharpness of a cabinet door closing, the silence that meant, I can't handle one more thing. So you became the child who had no needs, the easy one, the little soul who seemed so mature for their age. People praised you for it. They told your parents how lucky they were to have a child who was so responsible, so self-sufficient. But mature is often just a polite word for hyper-vigilant. Growing up too fast isn't a superpower. It's a survival strategy. It's called parentification. It happens when the roles flip and the child begins to feel responsible for the emotional or physical well-being of the parent. Maybe your parents were struggling with depression or addiction or a messy divorce, or maybe they were just overwhelmed by the weight of the world. Whatever the reason, you sensed a vacuum and you stepped in to fill it. You became the therapist, the mediator, the secret keeper, the one who made sure the bills were noticed or the siblings were fed. You traded your playfulness for a sense of control, because if you could keep everything stable, then maybe you'd be safe. But here's the thing about growing up too fast. You don't actually skip the stages of childhood. You just bury them. Now, as an adult, that maturity feels less like a gift and more like a cage. You find it nearly impossible to ask for help, even when you're drowning, because asking for help feels like a failure of your primary identity. When someone asks, "What do you want to do tonight?" you genuinely don't know the answer. You've spent so many years scanning other people's faces to see what they need that you've lost the signal to your own internal compass. You are a master of anticipation. You solve problems for people before they even realize they have them, and yet you feel a strange bubbling resentment when no one does the same for you. You think, why don't they see how tired I am? Why do I have to be the one who remembers everything? It's because you've taught the world that you are unbreakable. You've built a reputation for being the person who has it all figured out. Deep down, there's a part of you that's still that 8-year-old in the kitchen, holding a dish towel and waiting for someone to notice that you're tired too. You might feel guilty when you aren't being productive. Relaxing feels like a threat, because if you aren't doing, what value do you actually have? This is the core of the wound. The belief that you are only lovable as long as you are useful. You learned early on that your needs were a burden, so you tucked them away in a box and pushed it under the bed. But that box doesn't disappear. It just gets heavier the longer you ignore it. Healing from this isn't about becoming a child again in a literal sense. You can't go back and play with the toys you missed out on. It's about realizing that the crisis is over. You don't have to be the emotional architect for everyone in your life anymore. The roof isn't going to fall in if you stop holding it up for 5 minutes. It starts with the smallest, most terrifying question you can ask yourself. What do I need right now? Not what does my partner need, not what does my boss need, not what the ghost of my childhood needs, just me. At first, the silence will be deafening. You might feel a surge of anxiety, like you're doing something wrong. That anxiety is just your inner child realizing they're allowed to speak. They're a bit rusty. Their voice is small. Let them be messy. Let them be difficult. Let them be the one who doesn't have the answer for once. You've spent a lifetime being the adult in the room. Maybe it's time to finally let yourself be the one who gets taken care of. You did a good job surviving, but you don't have to just survive anymore. You can put the towel down now. The kitchen is clean. You're allowed to go outside and play.